A good plan.
Well, let's call this to order, shall we?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Polly.
Here.
Trustee Lappin.
Here.
Clerk Flavich here. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Here.
Trustee Kroll,
Here.
Trustee Reiner.
Here.
Supervisor Skibby.
Here. Moving forward to the adoption of the agenda, there is an addition to new business. It will be new business item 14, which is Northeastern Michigan Materials Management Association letter of support, correct?
Authority.
Authority, sorry. Letter of support, correct?
Yep.
In its intent.
Yes.
With this addition, are there any additions, subtractions, or corrections to the agenda as presented? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amended agenda. We have a motion on the table to approve the amended agenda. Second by trustee Reiner. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adoption of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. Adoption is next. Moving forward, this is the first opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment online, please use the bottom taskbar under the ellipsis of more to either raise your hand or to send a message so that we can identify you and your comment. Again, this is the first opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment online or in person, stand at the podium. Seeing no public comment, we'll move forward to the consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion? If there's nothing that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. We have a motion on the table to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there support? It's been moved and supported. Trustee Foley on the support. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, roll call please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward, we have no old business on the agenda, a new business. One as budget adjustments. Is any questions of the budget adjustments presented? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the budget adjustments as presented.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the budget adjustments presented. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion?
Yeah, just that the first few numbers are cut off, so if somebody was wondering what fund they are.
Oh, they're not on.
Yeah, they're not on. my-
Anyway, so, okay, never mind. I guess I'm the only one who has a weird copy.
Okay. No worries. Okay, with that discussion, roll call please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward on to new business item 2. Tim, would you like to take
Sure, this is ordinance number 154, the Construction Board of Appeals ordinance. And Michigan law requires municipalities to have a construction board of appeals. I'm guessing Alpena Township had one a long time ago, and I have faint memory. Or I dreamed it, I think a long time ago. It had one, it had a board of appeals, it just never had any appeals. And so it fell by the wayside. And so come to our attention that this is something we should get in place just in case. And so this ordinance really coincides directly with the applicable statutes and the nitty gritty of it. Let's read a portion of it. If an enforcing agency refuses, a building inspector or other inspector, plumbing inspector, for example, if an enforcing agency refuses to grant an application for a building permit, or if the enforcing agency makes any other decision pursuant or related to the act of the state construction code, an interested person may appeal in writing to the Board of Appeals, and the Board of Appeals will then decide if the official made the correct decision. And this is a step that a person's got to take before they go to the state of Michigan and say, you've got a problem with a local building issue. And then another provision of the statute says that the Board of Appeals has the power to grant variance from the requirements of the construction code if certain criteria are met. So it has two purposes, and members are appointed by supervisor, and there will be three. And so tonight it'd be a motion to introduce proposed ordinance number 154. And I'll then publish the notice of introduction, and next month we'll bring it up for adoption.
Any questions for Mr. Gold? That's all.
Not so much for him. My question was, is as supervisor, do you have some people in mind?
I'll work with Kevin Polly,
Okay.
our building official, and find, as I think I've done.
Is this his recommendation?
This is this is just an oops moment of even our sister agency, the city. They were in the very same boat 20 years ago, but there have not been a single appeal in 20 years and nobody even knew about. So this is just one of those things when it's not used. Just kind of left somebody's on it, and now that the clerk we have a good rotation of all of our commissions and any board appointments on a very regimented and oscillating timeline, so that we're not starving entire commissions or boards. We're replacing 1, 2, and keeping that cycle going and keeping people fresh. So I'll work with Kevin on this and bring forward appointments probably actually to our next meeting where we'll approve this ordinance at that point.
You need a motion?
Well, yeah, at this point in time, before we go, we can come back into the discussion. Is there a motion on the table to move forward with the introduction of ordinance 152, the
154.
154, the Construction Board of Appeals ordinance?
I make a motion that we adopt tonight?
No.
No,
Introduce.
Introduce.
As a charter, it's an introduction, adoption comes concurrent.
Introduce for public comment, ordinance 154.
So we have a motion on the table and support by Treasurer Ellery Summers. Further
Do we have to
discussion.
make a budget adjustment to pay these folks?
So no, they're in Public Act 199, and building official world is, they are to be inherently by Michigan Building Code, a self-sufficient entity. So it's kind of a quasi-tax, quasi-enterprise.
Okay.
So any of the funds and revenue streams that are brought into the building department shall stay in said department. So they are a revenue maker for the township. So having the potential therein, haven't had a construction board of appeals meeting in over 20 years. I think that their budget would be all to
Sustain it?
sustain that heavy lift. So any other,
I think what you're saying is based on the current income of the fiscal year we're in.
yeah, we're more than satisfactory for the potentials, and we'll bring these back to the board as well in terms of the appointments, what that compensation level, or if it is a pro bono aspect. So we'll look at some examples.
And they'll just get paid if and when we have a meeting.
Yeah, if and when, it'd probably be structured if we go that route, similar to that of board review or planning. Yes, Laura.
Is there a minimum amount of times do they have to at least meet once a year?
No,
Nothing.
no.
Okay, well, I can
They
see.
have no statutory obligations to meet once annually or biannually, like some other planning commission has to meet 6 times a year.
As needed.
ZBA as needed. Very, very simple.
That's a question for this office or this subject, but ZBA noted has posted meeting times in places on their website, but we don't have those, right? Unless we have a case.
Unless there's a case. Since I've been in office, I believe that the ZBA's met 3 times. And I think I might be overestimating that by 1 meeting.
I think we had 3, but maybe not. I think I missed one or
Yeah.
made 2.
So, with that being said, we have a motion and support on the table. Everybody's clear on the motion and support. This is for the introduction of ordinance 154. Seeing no further discussion, roll call please.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
You.
Thank you. Okay. So the next item on the agenda is recommendation that I've been working on, given, some of our somewhat recent history with, some driving accidents. And I looked at, not only Ford Pro, but also it was the WEX were the two larger components of the telematics industry. And my recommendation is to bring forward the Ford Pro telematics system, which also inherently has the capacity for dashboard cameras in our emergency response vehicles. There are 6 primary, so that would be, well, 7 if, no, 6, that are in this, the both engines, both rescues, which are both F-150s. Chief's truck is a 2020 Ford F-150, and then our new pumper, our tender. Sorry, let me start working on the vernacular. And this can actually go through, will have a direct effect to mitigating certain insurance liabilities by having this, and this was one of the loss control topics that they implored us to explore to the nth degree. And so between the two principles that I was able to find, the WEX was not user-friendly, and it didn't have an opportunity to have dashboard cams as well. Given the fact that half of our fleet is Ford, this is legitimately as simple as a plug and play can be. And going through Sourcewell, the cost, monthly cost was $20. Going through Sourcewell, it actually reduces that to $18
Per vehicle?
per vehicle.
Per
And
month?
yes, monthly. And so there's an $18 cost on it. I did have a cost breakout. So it's $18. I believe that the install was $30 on the camera. It's a one-time fee, but going through Sourcewell, we negate some of those fees because that was the last conversation I had with my contact through Ford Pro, Julia, that we can actually go through Sourcewell and find additional savings on those. And so for very little cost, what it will save us in insurance downstream as having this as a mitigating force. I strongly recommend moving forward with Ford Pro telematics.
Do you know if, I can't help but think that this would be a perfect one for the power plan risk reduction grant. But I see coming up. another one
yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah,
So,
but also for the power plan, you know as well as I, when it's an ongoing cost,
I know that's that's
they
exactly
don't,
where,
they do not support ongoing fees
Well,
and costs.
that's-
So,
where I was gonna go is can we pay this annually?
yeah,
And
Well,
avoid.
isn't this it's a monthly cost, right?
it is a monthly cost, yes.
So we're just essentially leasing this equipment, and if it becomes old, they replace it or
To
something?
replace it. Yes.
Are we in a contract for a certain number of months, years?
Um,
Cancel it at any time?
as far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is. If we want out, it's a 1 month, we're done with this, and severance is fast and easy.
Okay.
If you want, I can actually bring exact numbers to the next board.
I got $12.96 a year. That's not right.
Yeah, I think that was my calculation was right in that ballpark. But I have no issues tabling this to the subsequent meeting so that I can get
Contract.
actual contract. The problem is when you go through Ford Pro Telematics, it's done, all their communications are done with basically PDF fillable contracts. So you actually have to enter into the contract, print out the deliverables out of it, even though you're not signing said agreement.
Is there an extra cost for the 3 firefighting units? I mean, because they are not Fords, are they? Or-
So no, that is, well, there's a cost for the dashboard cameras. That's a one-time cost. And then there's, for the vehicles that aren't, that principally engine 1, engine 2, and the tender that are not Ford-based products. It's just a conversion, slip on over the computer port, and it just plugs in right there. and I've given all the bins to all the vehicles in question, the tender and both engines. And they meet their qualifications because they're newer. That was kind of, if anything was older than, I believe, 2019, it would not interface, but our oldest vehicle in this fleet is 2020. Well, sorry, 2013.
I was gonna say we have
The engine,
2013.
And I forget, it wasn't, that was new enough to meet that threshold, so. But I can, if, I have no issues bringing exact numbers. I think that this is
I
a
don't think we
wonderful
need to
thing.
table it.
Where would this, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have two questions. One is if those cameras are a one-time cost, we could probably use the power plant grant, right? Because,
I'm actually, you guys can explore that in the next round of power plant grants, and I would implore you to do so. But
You can also get a mini grant through.
you could also, there's a million other, there's community foundation, there's small low hanging fruit where we could pay
Mhm.
for.
My second question was, how soon can we implement this and get these? Does it take a while to get these cameras and get them hooked up?
I don't think that, it would just be commencing the scheduling with the Ford dealership
Oh,
so that they could just plug it in.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So let's say we've talked about leasing a vehicle for the general fund, for going to the bank, post office and all that. Then we could easily just add a vehicle to this program.
Yep,
Okay.
you can expand it at any point in time. The nice thing about this, besides its usability as an interface, is you can actually track so much more. I mean, you can daily import what price of gas is on a weekly basis, and it will tell you how much fuel you consumed at stationary idle versus travel. I mean, you can set up geofencing a million different ways to skin this cat. But the biggest thing is, per our liability and insurance conversations that I've had. When you have 3 vehicle accidents inside of 1 month, your insurance company lets you know that they know. And so when I had a long conversation with loss control, and mentioned this, we're ahead of the curve. And so this will only help reduce those liabilities downstream.
Who monitors this?
It can be set up to anybody that's appointed by the board, fire chief principally. It's usually it would be the chief and whatever executive from the board would have that interface.
And then this would be, I mean, these are obviously very useful tools. And they're used across the country. Trucking companies, for example, use them all the time.
Yep.
I just wonder, will we know who's in the vehicle? We're
Yeah,
only
because-
monitoring the vehicle.
Because the dashboard cam not only looks out, it
Oh,
looks.
it's in as well?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so and then this was another thing when the loss control conversation came in, distracted driving. It will actually tell you if your hands aren't on the wheel, if your eyes are just like any newer vehicle.
Okay.
If you're talking on your phone, it will say, put the phone down.
Put the hot dog down.
I mean,
Do they say, please?
yeah, technology's pretty scary, but
Yeah.
this is,
Is it similar to what you have a picture?
Well,
of?
yeah, I just wondered, I just want to make sure that we're not,
No.
Oh, not
that we, that
sophisticated.
if we're gonna, if we're gonna use something like this, that we use it.
Yeah.
And that we understand its capabilities and,
yeah, honestly, it has a vast amount of positives I can see going through the tutorials that I've sat through with.
I'm assuming that monthly or quarterly or whatever, the reports would be shared with the department.
Yeah,
And-
it could be
yeah.
part of the chief's.
I would
We've-
think
we've
that this
had-
would be an excellent tool to just curb some enthusiasm that might be out there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can actually set it up in the database of not to exceed a speed limit. And whoever, if you're I mean, obviously NFPA gives 10 miles over in those situations. So if you put the threshold at 65 miles an hour and we have a vehicle going higher than 65 miles an hour, whoever's, because it can be ported right to a telephone. So the chief's phone would get an alert saying, E2 is going 93 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone.
Again,
Again, chief's gonna know.
okay, good.
And I didn't know it was 10, I thought it was 20 was the requirement. The maximum limit of over the speed limit, but in any event, has the interim chief been obviously he's been in discussion on this, it's.
Actually, I think we've been hammering so many other topics, Russ, that this is a conversation that started 3 months ago. And then the unfortunate reality would have come to the board 3 months ago, except for, seems that when you are working on commission, salespeople don't like to give another salesperson my contact because they would lose that commission. So she went on maternity leave and just returned back 2 weeks ago. So we're having the conversation now. But this is,
I'd like to bring the chief in.
yeah,
Thoughts?
to the podium, so that way we got.
Is it on?
Yeah, Haley
Yeah,
always
Haley's
comes it
on.
on.
Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
Can you hear me? I haven't seen the system that you're talking about, but I am familiar with systems like that. The REMS in Livingston County runs those in their trucks. It has definitely made it a safer environment for everybody with EMS response. I haven't seen it done in fire trucks and I don't know how that works, so I'd have to take a look at it to offer good input, but it does reduce speeds. It does make the drivers pay attention more. Keep in mind that we have one person in the truck most times, which is, there's a lot going on in that truck too. So some of these things are gonna have to have some inherent forgiveness, if you will, on their thing. So it's, but we'll take a look at it and see what it does. And I'm sure it's gonna improve our response for sure.
I'm curious as to places where you have done this in the past. What is the initial feedback from particularly the staff?
They don't like it because they don't want Big Brother watching them. So it all depends on how it's approached, right? So is it a learning tool or is it a punishment tool? If you use it as a learning tool and an education, make an educational moment of it, then it's not taken as you're punishing me or you're trying to get me. You know, that's the thing. You can't use it for that type of tool. It has to be an educational. And then at some point in time, you turn it into, okay, we'd have to do something about it.
Fair enough. And that's exactly where I was going with that, is that are we using this as a gauge, as a tool, as a benefit? And that's the way it should be used.
It's definitely gonna reduce your insurance costs for sure.
Yeah. And when
which
we
is-
look at that accelerator on vehicle insurance, principally in public safety, it's,
It's big.
Last year it went up like 30% or something, yeah.
Well, we all went up.
Yeah, everybody did.
Does it also include
Um,
backup camera?
My concern is, I really wouldn't want it to be board supervised. My thought is that, you know, with the right leadership in place, this should be handled within the department.
I wholeheartedly agree.
The only exception that I would have with that is that from time to time, we should
Oh,
just be brought up to speed.
if there's an ongoing recurring problem,
Right,
then that would be dealt with in the normal personnel
right.
context, but overall, I mean, as an overarching thing, I'm not into doing the small management things at this level.
And you want to look at it from 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
As do I.
Yeah, and I agree with both of your statements, is that given proper leadership in that department, the chief should be the principal on. That's kind of my design is, here's a tool for not only our employee safety, but for the longevity of our equipment that we need to maximize that return on. And that way, especially with the dashboard, if there is a PIA, now we actually have documentation of, not saying that it's our fault, but you eliminate that variable altogether.
Well,
and
it
that's a
can
good
be
thing.
very helpful when it's not our fault.
Exactly, even
Yeah,
Personal
very
insurance.
valuable, that one.
so. No, so we can go either way. If you want me to bring this back or to move forward, and I can still bring it back with exact costs next month. I look to this body.
I would like to make a motion to move forward with it.
Okay,
Can we have a kind of an idea of a maximum initial cost here?
and as soon as I get that calculated with her, I can have an email sent out to the board of.
Well, I was thinking about a motion now, so we can get moving, but it would be a motion with a you know,
Up to,
up to X.
Well, yeah, but then is it a month, up to X per month, or is it annual? How do you?
Well, you're talking about costs, one-time costs here that
Yeah.
we, are the unknowns. The rest of it is about $1,300 a month,
1,300 a month,
No.
a year.
or 1296, yeah,
Yeah.
a year, excuse
Yeah,
me.
okay.
Yeah.
That's like 108 a month.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I did the 12.
Sure what your motion.
What was your motion?
Well,
Just to move
I haven't
forward.
made it yet. I would say to move forward with a, you know, with the cost of cameras and installation not to exceed a number. I just
Well,
don't
I
know what
guess
number.
to the.
So are you making an amendment to my motion?
Oh, you made the motion. I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I mean,
I was just suggesting.
are you supporting it with a friendly amendment?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and the friendly amendment is?
I
Just
just
put
need
a
a number.
threshold?
Yeah, I would think that if we can't get these cameras installed for less than, I mean, 2,500 maybe, I don't know.
I think that's more than adequate.
Okay.
Yeah, see.
For,
So we have the motion has been friendly,
to
amended.
move forward with the Ford Pro telematics,
not to exceed.
not to exceed 2,500 in installation costs.
I
Installation
thought there were
of
30
camera
bucks to
purchase.
install it.
and annually.
Didn't the $18
I don't think
include
annually.
the installation?
Does that include the annual
Oh,
cost?
no, I'm sorry.
Well, there's gonna be a cost of
Plus the monthly
there'll be a
cost.
cost of a module for
The
Right.
cameras
fire
are
trucks,
a
there'll be a
separate
cost of
cost.
cameras.
Okay, gotcha.
A
All right.
monthly fee, and then what I don't know exact dollars and cents is, what the interface is with the local board.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're,
So not to exceed
That should be
2,500 in installation and cameras.
and modules, you know, yeah.
So we have a motion on that, that's been.
But that does not include the monthly fee.
Okay,
Right.
beautiful.
That's,
Not,
that's,
okay.
We need a GL.
I don't have. Well, it could just be as simple as this. It could be 205 336 801 000, which is professional and contractual services.
That is.
I think that GL probably meets that description better than just the generic vehicles.
that's not.
Vehicle
maintenance, it's not-
maintenance.
Yeah, no,
Vehicle.
it's a professional and it's a contractual service.
It's a service we're gonna be having.
Right.
So, to the friendly amendment and to the author of the original motion who accepted the friendly amendment, could you please just restate the motion that on the
Proceed
table?
with Ford Pro telematics with not to exceed 2,500 for installation modules and cameras. And that does not include the monthly fee to be paid out of 205 336 801 000 professional and contractual services.
Well, it does include that, but the 2,500 doesn't.
Yeah, that's what the.
Yeah, so
motion
you'll have to
states.
work on that wording.
Install
To
and,
not include the monthly fee.
yeah, to not.
It just,
Just
the motion-
installation and equipment
Oh,
fee.
so the motion doesn't include the approval of
the 2,500 does not include the monthly fee that we are approving. The monthly fee of $18
$80
per vehicle. Per vehicle, okay.
Could you repeat that again?
Oh
No.
my God.
So we have a motion and
Pretty good,
support
right?
on the table. Further discussion? Seeing none for that.
Trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward to the next item of new business is an amendment to our current agreement with F&B Operations. This includes two different changes. By contract, we go with the CPI, and this year it was at 3.6%. And so that rolled in, and then also conversations in regards to replacement of the 3/4 ton pickup truck that the DPW it's recently deceased in the back. It's already on the fixed disposal asset list. But this contract actually includes the cost of that truck, as well as the increase of 3.6% on the CPI.
So are they getting a truck or a van or? do you-
Truck, 3/4 ton truck, that way, And it seems like that shouldn't be too far out. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be talking with Blair about what that timing looks like, but they should be able to bring that forward. It made more fiscal sense to the township to fold, this cost into the contract as an amendment versus buying our own, even through Sourcewell or otherwise. Because of the continued liabilities therein. So to put this under our current contract is a cost saver to the township,
So they're buying it, they're owning it, they're insuring it,
maintaining it,
and we're
et
paying
cetera, et
for
cetera.
the capital cost.
And we're just paying a slightly uptick in monthly cost. So. with
How
that-
much more than the 3.6, if you know?
Off the top of my head, I had it broke out somewhere else. It was $100 a month. I can't, I don't even want to misstate a number.
The total increase is
CPI
like
looks-
2,000.
Yeah, it's.
It includes both.
On this contract, the CPI looks backwards, right?
I believe for, the Department of Bureau of Labor Statistics, it goes. I want to say it. I don't know if it's.
That's usually the way we
hindsight.
would do it.
You almost have to.
Yeah,
And so,
because you can't forecast.
yeah, just so the consumer price index should be 3.2 in 2024. For what it's worth.
No, we just did it a couple months ago and it was 3.4. They looked at it.
There are different categories too, so
I know
we
it.
might further refine it.
And the only caveat was that when we wrote this contract, we used the CPI not nationally, but regionally.
Yeah,
That may have been a mistake.
Yeah, because we used our regional insurance expert to help us fine tune that language. Okay, so it is my recommendation.
Getting hit.
I know. It is my recommendation to move forward with the second amendment to the F and B contract, which includes the increase annual of 3.6 on the CPI and then also the uptick to the vehicle.
I'll
So
make
moved.
them.
I'll
Go
support.
ahead.
I'll support.
We have a motion and support. Further discussion? Yeah.
No, I just, running the 3.6, Steve, I think it's 21.5, just over 21.5. Additional, so if it's 22,000 something, it's less than $1,000 for the pickup.
Yeah, I want to say it was like $836 additional on the pickup truck. It's. As we know, towards the end of life on any work truck, you start getting nickel and dime, so to have no operational and maintenance costs associated, including insurance, that's a win. But it is my recommendation, I don't think we have a motion or support on the table.
Yes, we have
Oh,
both.
we got both. Any further discussion? I'm so sorry.
I just don't know
I
if the
am
motion included a
always-
pickup truck.
Seeing no further discussion, roll call, please. What was that, Zena?
Trustee Polly.
Yeah.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
we'll get to see these motions in the minutes, right?
Moving forward in the agenda, next item of business is IG resolution. This is an amendment to through Dykema, which stipulates through the Metro Act, which is upcoming, that the biggest difference to the Metro Act, this is the same utility right away agreement that we have with any principal utility, be fiber optics, gas, electric, et cetera, et cetera. This is common fare in any municipality that has any transmission. But the Metro Act and its improvements, this subcontracted company, Dykema, through Prescott Energy and Gas, has actually sent a $500 check because that is going to be an upcoming portion of, so they're actually proactive with moving forward with that. This is just a franchise agreement that is an offset of the broadband internet services that IG is trying to tap into with broadband expansion. And it's my recommendation to move forward with the resolution or with the permit and access as presented. Yes, yes, Tim.
Yeah, the right-of-way telecommunications permit is a standard form required by statute.
In
No
the road-
variation
Within the road right of way,
Yep, yeah. I've seen-
whatever it is.
Seen a bunch of them, they're always the same, and in the $500 is called for, by statute. And, there's really no risk in approving it and no real way not to approve it unless it was an incomplete.
Okay, I have two questions. Well, I love to do this part because it's a pet peeve of mine. When I do it, I don't like it. Great Lakes is not Presque Electric, right? That's a typo.
I was guessing that was a typo from his form letter.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I love it. That's taking my gas.
But,
But, number two, are you familiar with the act, Tim, at all? Okay. It's not exclusive. In other words,
It's-
Frontier or
it's not
anybody else can,
right, it's non-exclusive. We did get approached by a small fledgling operator that said, oh, what do I gotta do? Like asking me for legal advice on how to bring broadband to Alpena Township. I said, we'll get an attorney. And then also I said, you gotta do the Metro Act application, and he never heard of it.
yeah.
And I never heard from him again. But normally, the ones that are doing this in many locations, they've got it boilerplate and correct their typos.
Yeah,
and, Submit the same
and
application.
so the reason that they're moving forward with Dykma in this regard is that within our municipality, Presque Electric and Gas actually only composes 1% of our population of service. The only interface that we have that I know of is crossing M32 west at the intersection of Lake Winia Road,
And
and
west,
that is it.
yeah, and then west.
And then it
Somebody
heads
else.
west Out to Wilson.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I would entertain, a motion to move forward with the resolution therein.
I'd move to adopt the resolution. Do we have to read it into the
No,
record?
I've been told I don't need to read any more whereases, but maybe I'll, in the next couple meetings, I'll stack
Thank
up some
you.
whereas.
Very
It must have the,
You're supporting.
I'll support it.
to adopt the resolution and approve the submitted permit.
Oh, okay. Include that in my motion then.
It sounded like it was right out of your own lips
Yeah, just,
to include the resolution in the minute.
An
So
approved permit.
approve. Okay, so we have any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
yes,
Trustee Foley.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward on to the next business item is a resolution regarding the adoption of investment and depository policies and its update. Laura, would you like to?
We brought these to our last meeting and because we had several policies and procedures to bring before the board. And one motion was made for everything and then Michelle cut it after the resolution needed to be
Individual.
individually. So they're being brought back. There's no changes. The investment and depository policy was the just changes of the banks and the credit union. So that's what it was the last. time.
So
we need-
would you like to actually make the
I'll
motion?
make a motion. We approve the resolution regarding adoption of investment and depository policy.
Yeah, we have a motion on the table. Is there support?
I'll support it.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion?
The only question is, this resolution can be changed as necessary because we don't know that these banks will remain those banks.
Originally, it was adopted on October 28th of 2019. And then at the top, and then the adopted changes are effective
No, I
today.
understand that, but I mean, if Huntington Bank moves out of the area or if Nicollet Bank becomes the ABC Bank. then-
So there's two actually perfect opportunities, obviously anytime, such as we're doing now to improve the resolution on the policy. But the most ideal time would be at budget hearings, wherein then you can define the depository. So Laura, every budget session, you can say, the list of banks is remaining the same as previous,
And we
otherwise.
do that.
We do that at
Exactly.
budget time.
So we do it two ways.
Oh, okay, all right, fair enough, good, thank you.
At our organizational meeting basically is when we do that. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so we have a motion and support. Further discussion or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Foley,
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward, Laura, just stay
The-
on it.
The next one is resolution regarding adoption of the purchasing policy. And again, this was brought to our last meeting, or we just increased some of the limits to a higher amount.
Would you like to make? a
I will
motion
make
to
that motion. We approve the purchasing policy as presented.
Or,
We have motion and support, further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Foley,
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
yes,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward to new business, item 8 is a policy and procedure recommendation. Laura?
For the, this is to update the benefits section 5.12 from the Policies and Procedures Manual. Basically, if you have insurance, say you're married and your spouse has insurance through their employer, and you
Through the
work.
township.
yeah.
Well,
same.
I was starting out the other way, but that's okay.
Oh.
No, I was just
Because I
saying
thought
like.
this only had to do, if they both had insurance.
She was
Yeah,
explaining the
Yeah.
opt-in.
That's the
and
only
then-
change to it, right?
Right.
Is if they're, if they both work for the township and basically, they could both get insurance, and if they opted out, they would get a stipend, but we're eliminating that. So,
If they're covered under the
Yeah.
townships.
right, insurance, then they both won't get the opt out.
Pretty standard language.
Yeah.
Well, we discussed this before, maybe just a policy procedure. I thought we passed it here, but I guess we hadn't, so.
So I'll make that motion. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'll support.
We got trustee
So-
Lappin with the motion.
And Treasurer Ellery Summers supported.
That's correct. Any further discussion? Roll call please.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Foley,
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Okay, moving forward, to the L 4029, you like to say?
Sure, we do this every year. I bring it to the board. You're supposed to review it and then we make a motion to approve it as presented. And then this is the tax that has to be completed so we can collect taxes.
Got it, correct.
And we're just reviewing the millage rates, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion, or are you making the motion?
You can make the motion, I'll support
I
it.
make the motion. We approve the L 4029 as presented.
We have a motion on the table and support. Further discussion?
So this takes our 1.29 under Headley down to 1.0103.
Correct.
Yes, which we lost 1/1000 because our economic development last year was so wonderful that we lost 6/1000 of a millage point due to the CPI. You like that?
the bummer of growth.
The bummer of growth. The more you grow, the less you get, at least in rural.
Love the Headley.
Love it.
I
So,
make a comment, but I won't split it.
yeah, so we have a motion and support. Seeing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Foley,
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward to item number 10. This is a resolution for me to apply for the risk reduction grant through the power plant. Whereas, yeah, no, so this round, one of their key components to this funding was cameras, security cameras. Learning the lessons of attempts past, we are passing a resolution moving forward in accordance with the power plans application process. But this will be for security cameras. We have a system, but we're actually looking to expand it and include similar cameras on not only this campus, but campus at Southside Fire Department as well. And have that interface. So this would take a bite out of that apple in terms of cost, but one of their key funding drivers this cycle was security cameras.
Because when those people are out on a run, I don't know if they lock the door or have time to lock it. I
They
mean,
shouldn't have to worry about it. Really.
Exactly.
Their primary response is
Yeah,
what's
keep
gonna be
going.
when they stop the vehicle.
Exactly.
And we have one person all night there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
should've cameras.
no, there again, talking
Okay.
about
There's
logistics
a-
and
there's a-
insurance costs and reduction.
Yeah, there's
our-
definitely liability benefit.
And our vote box is got a 24-hour. camera.
24,
That's works.
And
Yes.
it works.
yes,
So
Russ,
So how many,
it works.
how many cameras can we purchase for this? Do you know?
Oh, off the top of my head, no, the quote from Omega included, it was quite comprehensive
Yeah.
because
Okay.
we're currently utilizing our interface between our servers, which back up this data point. Gentlemen, is actually has to operate on Internet Explorer. And so by the time we bought it in 2016, when I came into office 2015 to 16, the camera system was outdated. So how many times, if you lose it on your desktop, we have to call IT because it's unsupported by Internet Explorer. So we're just looking to modernize that interface to our server
We have
and
to
then
re-
expand some of the cameras.
Don't you reload yours on Internet Explorer?
Yeah.
I think mine run on Internet Explorer. only
Yeah,
the
well,
cameras.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's- yeah,
That's
I
it.
like Windows 96, but they
Right.
don't, make it. anymore, so.
Oh,
So with that being said, it is my recommendation to move
Where's my
forward with a
calendar?
resolution to apply for the risk reduction, power plan grant for utilization of video security systems.
I'll support that.
We have a motion or,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion on the table. Is there support?
I'll support it.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Plavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
complete it for, Cheryl and Haley tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Okay, every 3 years, we have to put the employee benefits out for an RFP. So this is an updated RFP, pretty much the same one we put out 3 years ago. Put it back out.
How does it go out? Just on our website? Or is it-
I'm gonna put it on the website. I will send it to the local agencies and then Franklin Benefits likes me to send it to them too. So I'll send it to Assured Partners, Alpena Agency, Top of Michigan,
That way. So what is that assured?
that's Assured. I think
Those three, and then Frank.
in Franklin, and if anybody else calls or thinks of someplace I should send it, let me know. But it will be on the website too.
When are these due?
It's on here,
Yeah,
Okay,
dates
your
are in there.
timeline.
November 19th,
Okay,
so that we can vote on it for the November 25th board meeting.
okay.
Is there a motion to allow the clerk to move forward with the RFP as presented?
Do we have to have a motion for that? I'll make the motion.
Support. Been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose the same. The next item is an invoice from CNS Carriers that do our dust control, outside of the road commission. And so it's my recommendation to move forward with, the approval of, yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's just my recommendation to move forward with this dust control.
What's this for? What road?
So this is actually, they do dust control at Piper Road Tower. And the abutting neighbor who has given us the easement to access our tower. They do the primary drive coming into the baseball fields. They do behind the office, and then they usually do M32 fire station. So those are our principal locations. Although next year, given the fact that the city is backed out of the MDNR 32 West Station, that would be back up to this body, whether or not you want to continue utilizing. We actually now have a secondary supplier that just came into the community late this past year for dust control. So there would be a second opportunity to get a quote for dust control moving forward. But principally, this is
But CNS.
public
is our-
safety and DPW related.
Yeah, this is our, and CNS Carriers is our contracted source for this year, right?
Yeah, yep. And so this, the service has already been provided. It's just sometimes they get a little lackluster.
Usually it's under 500, so it
Yeah,
doesn't come. to the
usually
board.
it's, It's under 500.
This is the first year it's come to the board.
You need a motion to pay
Yes,
the bill?
please. Yeah, motion to pay it.
Motion to, pay CNS carriers for $632.32.
Yeah,
for services rendered.
Yes, we have motion and support. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Second to last item of new business is, a quote from Commercial Glazing Systems Incorporated. Which is for a complete, everything that's in our entryway that's glass or metal, to be removed and replaced, given the consideration that it's not our thresholds that are rusting out, it is the entire framing and the doors are starting to sag. This is highly recommended.
so that's a bad thing.
So, as we all notice, and we're waiting on this weekend, we'll conclude the last leg of the first phase of the treasurer's office wall removal. I haven't heard a bad thing.
It
from
looks
any of the people
fabulous.
coming in.
Everybody loves it.
But in that portion, when we had Thunder Bay Electric here doing some of the rewiring for switches, it came to their attention that I'm sure with a friendly nudge.
Thunder Bay
That our front entryway and breezeway has not for 8 years ever functioned appropriately in terms of heat.
So this is
especially.
for the whole front,
That
cause
whole-
I couldn't
everything-
figure out what in the world this was.
Everything that's glass is to be
Okay,
replaced
Okay,
with like,
got you.
On the exterior wall you're talking.
that is
about,
correct.
Not the interior.
Yes,
So new doors.
new doors, new glass, new frame, everything
The door won't even shut.
that will
Is it-
interface.
Is this something we had to look for a second bid on?
That's what I'm wondering.
This company is the company that would have given the quote to Alpina Glass, to Frank's Key and Lock. So even if we went to the other vendors, the only difference would have been a higher uptick in cost having that.
I
So,
was told the same thing as you. But
and Mr. Polly, would you have any information otherwise that's gonna have a better number than sub $15,000 for all the window and glass? Yeah.
I noticed on the bid, it says finish polishing is not included. What does that mean? That's gonna be.
They don't make
drawn?
it, they don't make it look shiny.
They don't make it look pretty.
I don't
They
know.
just, they don't put a phone in it.
I guess they cut out the kitty wash. I don't know if your hair is disheveled in the morning on your way to first day of school, but
I just wasn't sure if that
Oh, that guy's
meant
kidding.
that there's some other step that needs to be done to protect the aluminum or something like that.
no, not that I know
All
of.
right.
No, this will be, so the heater was fixed, the register was fixed. And both thermostats that have control over that were replaced and renewed as well. Note that opportunity was less than 500. So for our value and for the last thing would be cosmetics. For functionality and for our value, it's my recommendation to move forward with this proposal. From Commercial Glazing Systems at $14,498 to come out of GL 101-265-93100.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table, and we have support by trustee Reiner. Further discussion, yes, sir.
Two things. One has nothing to do with this work, is the work on the front of the fireside. That door.
It's already, well, that was the
Whatever that
support,
was
that was a support beam for the
Yes.
cantilevered roof. That's already been
Been
replaced.
taken care of. Okay.
We can do some fine tuning and do some in-house work just to kind of spruce.
Is
it
this
up
in
a
the
bit.
budget without tinkering with the moving money from others
Yes,
line items? Okay.
as it stands currently. Fully funded out of one single GL.
We can take a tour and look at the beam after the meeting.
So
What's that?
any,
Take a
any,
tour.
any further discussion?
I know way too much about beaming.
Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Last item of new business is, Northeastern Michigan Materials Authority.
And management.
Authority.
Oh, yeah, I cut out an M and I got the A right, don't you know it, Ed? So Laura, would you like to?
Excuse me, I'm the secretary on the Northeast Michigan Materials Management Authority, and Supervisor Skibby also sits on that authority, as well as a representative from all of the other townships, the city, the county. And we are working on a $6 million project, and we need approximately another $1 million to go to finish up the funding gap so we can get our building going for a new recycle center near the airport. So this letter is just a letter that the authority asked each board to approve and sign and send it in, so then we can include all of the letters and send them to the governor, Eagle, state reps, senators, I mean, anybody that even private companies that would like to invest, corporate partners or anything. So anyway, I'll make a motion that we approve this letter on behalf of.
We adopt the letter as
NEMA.
going from us to the governor.
It goes to the Northeast Michigan community.
For them to send. I'll
Right,
support
and then
that.
I'll go together at the same time.
We have a motion and support. Further discussion? Seeing none. Let's do roll call just to show.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers, supervisor Skibby.
Yes. At this point in time, I'd entertain a motion.
You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
I'd like to make a motion that the township board to enter into closed session to consult with the township attorney regarding trial strategy in the water and sewer rate litigation pending before Alpena County Circuit Court pursuant to MCL 15.2681E.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support? Been supported by trustee Lappin. Further discussion? All those in favor of going into closed session?
Oh,
roll call.
usually we do a roll call.
Yep.
Trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
supervisor Skibby.
Yes, we're officially in closed section or session. It's 56.
Me too.
We're now officially back in open session. This is the second opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment online, please use the bottom taskbar under the ellipsis of more to raise your hand or to shoot a message so that we can identify you and your comment.
Your public
Do you have
comment?
any public comments, sir? Seeing no public comment, discussion for the good of the order, I'll lead this one. Sir, in a matter of 2 weeks, you've assisted this township in this department, and I commend you for your efforts. And I think tomorrow will be another good hurdle and a good step forward with staff and the department. So thank you for your dedication to the township, sir. Yeah.
I'd like to piggyback that as
Oh,
the
here we go.
report was wonderful in our packet, very professional.
So, yeah,
Does somebody want to piggyback to my piggyback?
Xena,
Yeah.
warrior princess comes over the top. Yes,
It's just like Dick Tracy.
Yeah.
Just the facts, man. Don't
just
tell
the
us
facts,
strategy.
just the
It wasn't.
facts. So seeing no other discussion for the good of the order, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You
We have
got
a
it.
motion on the table to
Steve.
adjourn. Is
Who
there
made the
support?
motion?
Laura got the motion.
I'll support that.
Lapdog got the support. Further discussion?
You never heard him call that?
No. Laughed on.
Don't
So-
tell me because. you-
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned, 7:23.